now for her take on the market. End of financial year, Julia. Are we likely to see some positioning today, perhaps some strange movements in and out of stocks?
Okay, most of it should have already occurred, but no doubt we will see some last-minute positioning. It is the month end, the quarter end, and of course the end of the financial year. And just looking at how we fared, this is the one-year chart for the Australian market, and we're actually up by 17.5% for the financial year to date so far. So it's been quite a good one. Of course, over the last quarter and over the last month, it hasn't been so good. And over the last quarter, we have seen a decline of 3.1%, and over the last month, a decline of 2.3%. Just having a look across the different sectors for the financial year, though, every single sector has traded higher with just one exception, and that exception is the material space. We know that the miners have been under pressure because of lower commodity prices, so that's really the only space to finish in the red for the year. Having a look at some of the stocks that have performed well, we've seen some stellar performances. Sirius, which is a nickel explorer, up by a massive 3,645%, so that's the top performer in the ASX 200, followed by Magellan Financial Group, which has managed a 387% gain, and BlueScope. It was a basket case a few years ago, but the last 52 weeks has actually been a good year for the stock. BlueScope up by 158%. Of course, there's been a lot of stocks which have also declined, and I guess having a look at some of the biggest moves, Discovery Metals down by 91%, Billabong down by 84%, and we've also seen Perseus down by 80%. But all in all, a gain for the financial year, up by 17.5%.
Julia, Resolute Mining, we've got them coming out with the production update. What do you make of that news?
Well, it's actually a production upgrade, so it's good news for Resolute Mining. They're forecasting 430,000 ounces of gold for the year, and that's up from their previous forecast of 415,000 ounces. Cash costs expected to come in at $890 an ounce, and they are reviewing some of their mines, and they've actually found $115 million for immediate deferral. So that's because of the gold price. Resolute being a gold miner, unfortunately, it is going to be a hard day for the gold miners today. Gold prices absolutely plummeted overnight, trading below 1,200 US an ounce at one point. In the end, though, down by 2.4% at 1,200 US an ounce. And of course, the gold space has been one area, a subsector that has been under a lot of pressure. The gold sector down 60% over the last 52 weeks, and every single stock, all 40 stocks in that subsector, recording declines. So unfortunately, despite the good news coming out from Resolute, I think it's going to be a difficult day for those gold miners today.
And also Caltech's profit, are you expecting a drop there? It sounds like most people are. How will shares react?
Well, unfortunately, we have seen a profit downgrade coming through on a replacement cost of production side of things. They are predicting $160 to $175 million for the first half of the year. And just to put that into context, just for the first quarter, we actually saw that number coming in at $146 million. And that implies for the second half, we're only seeing a result there of $14 to $29 million. So the second quarter has been an absolutely dismal one for Caltex. Now, part of this is a loss due in the refining and the supply segment, so a loss of $45 million related to that. So it makes sense why Caltex is looking at closing some of its refineries like Canal, and that's because of the volatility that we see in earnings coming through from this segment. There's also a $20 million impact from unplanned outages as well. But looking forward to the second half, that lower Aussie dollar should actually have a positive impact on refining margins. But unfortunately, Caltex coming out with some bad news last night, so just watching those shares. Interestingly, we've seen UBS coming out with a research note this morning. They have kept their 12-month target unchanged and their neutral rating also unchanged as well on the stock.
Okay.